Join me as I bring new life and charm to this outdated table set. I start by getting everything out and kind of figuring out what I need to do. I get all the dust off with a dry towel. I check for any damages so that I know what I need to fix. And then I go ahead and start cleaning. Get the dust off, and then I go back through with warm soapy water, and I use a rinse bucket to help keep the warm soapy water clean all the time. So I'll rinse the rag in the rinse water before dipping it back in the soapy water. I try to make sure I get every surface of the chairs, the tables, the bottoms of them, and all the spindles. Right, this is just after wiping the seat of this chair. I haven't even done the spindles in the back, like just the seat. Is that dirty? That's disgusting. And I'm gonna need something stronger than the dish soap for this, because something is like stuck on here. I don't know what it is, but it's fuzzy and it's kind of bluish, and the dish soap isn't doing it. So we'll figure that out in a minute.
Is it rolling?
Yeah, it is.
So does it need to roll?
It's rolling down there, so I think you just hold it, bring it down a little there.
Oh, I see it in the camera.
I think that's probably about as far as it'll go.
Okay.
It's kind of stopped there.
So should we close it like this, maybe?
Oops.
Well, it doesn't match up.
Seems less than
It's
before.
it's not matching up.
Okay, can you loosen it a tiny bit again? I'll try to hold it.
I wonder if it's moving because of the glue.
Oh.
Oh, I need to sit down or something. I'll get one of those little chairs. I need to...
See, because if I can hold it like this, that's why I almost... Maybe even like way back here. And I can try and use my weight to hold it this way.
Oh, maybe we did it back here the first time.
I don't know. Maybe. See, it's already pulling apart. I'm trying to push my body weight to keep it.
It looks good.
Oh no, it keeps pulling apart. Okay, we really struggled with getting this chair fixed. So we ended up just stopping and moving on with sanding the rest of the chairs. And then I brought this to my neighbors, who is just like an expert woodworker, and he fixed it for us. So here's what we did with the chairs. We sanded down all of it, but we sanded down to the wood grain on the arms, and then just did a scuff sand on the seat and the spindles. I used regular sandpaper to do the spindles and the legs. And then once that was done, we were able to stain the arms, and then we painted the chairs black. I didn't take any video of us doing the chairs, so I'll just tell you on that. But here's the chair that my neighbor fixed. So he ended up putting like a peg in there to help secure it, and then we just put some wood filler to kind of blend it back in and sand it and make it look nice. So here's the table. The table looks like it's solid wood at first glance, and I thought it was when I first purchased it, but actually the very top is laminate and the base is also laminate. So the only wood part is the ring around the table. So I decided to just go ahead. I scuff sanded the base and the tabletop, and then sanded to the wood grain on the rim, just like I did with the arms of the chairs. I used Fusion mineral paint in the color Coal Black. Fusion is a paint and primer in one, and it's specifically made for furniture, so it's a really good paint to use. I usually still use a primer just to make sure like things adhere, but I did kind of a sample space on this table and did a scratch test. So once the first layer dried, I like scratched with my fingers to see if it would come off, and it stuck on there just like it would with a good primer. So I went ahead and used that to finish paint the base, and then I had stained the rim, and then here I am taping off or as close as I could to the top so that I could paint the tabletop as well. So there's wood here. I stained it a dark walnut, and I was gonna paint this, but I realized this part is also wood, so I didn't paint it because I'm debating about possibly sanding this back down and staining it as well. So here's the whole thing. What do you guys think, stain or paint? I'm probably gonna decide before you all tell me, so it doesn't matter what you say. But yeah. So clearly I decided to go ahead and stain it. I used just a blue shop towel and dipped it into the stain. Usually I brush the stain on and then go back and wipe off, but at this point I was ready to try and get this table done. So I used what I already had and what I could start quickly with. I really loved this dark walnut with the black. I'm just a huge fan every time I do black with walnut or dark walnut. I just think they complement each other really well. It's not a huge contrast because they're both such dark colors, but there is some contrast with it being painted versus the wood grain showing through, and I just love how it ends up looking. Okay, so I want to show you, if you see like here, there's kind of a streak where there's texture or something. I just wiped it, so some of this you're just seeing the paint, or I mean not the paint, the tabletop is drying, but here where it's different textured, this is something that used to happen to me a lot when I first started using Fusion mineral paint. It doesn't happen as often now, but I knew immediately it was going to do this when I did this. So when you're painting, you want to paint with the Fusion. It dries really fast, so you want to try to get a lot on, or not a lot, but get enough on to make a full streak from side to side, and then work your way down, and try to, so you're always working with the paint while it's still wet. With this, my last coat, I had finished this whole thing, and then I saw like, I don't know if it was like a cat hair or a dog hair or something, and it was already partially dried, but I picked up that hair and of course then had to repaint where that hair was because you could see my finger mark. And so I painted those streaks again, but because this had partially dried, what happens is the brush added texture to it that rather than kind of leveling out. So okay, it looks really bad now, but that's just because it's partially wet. So I'm just gonna take my like fine sand paper and sand. I'm gonna go ahead and sand the whole thing to even it out and do my final coat. And hopefully I don't mess it up again and we'll have a smooth surface.
Should I take it from this side?
Sure.
This is going to be really different than anything I've seen. I feel like.
Yeah. They're going so I can hold it together.
Ooh.
I'm not sure either. I feel like it takes away from the that bottom, so I might have to paint this. All right, so the final step is adding a top coat for extra protection. I like to use polyacrylic from Minwax. It just gives that added protection, especially on a tabletop that you're gonna be needing or getting a lot of use out of, putting plates on and cups and silverware and all that. So I use polyacrylic over the whole table. I think I used 3 coats over the whole thing, but the tabletop, I think I did 4 coats just to give that extra durability. But I pretty much add this to all of my furniture that's going to get heavy use. Fusion mineral paint does have a top coat like kind of naturally in it. It's a nice hard paint that doesn't chip very easily, so I don't always use it on things that maybe don't get used a lot, but always on the tops. All right, so here is the before and the after. I hope you guys enjoyed. Follow for more.